Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rudi. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, my belly is huge. It's 90 degrees outside and we are shopping our stash today. If you have been here for at least a couple months, I have been decluttering my entire makeup collection with you guys. Coverage products, blushes, blush, bronzer, and highlighter is coming next, so stick around. Primers, foundations, skin tints, concealers, mascaras, eyebrows, like we have really pared things down. So it only makes sense that we would now shop the things that I decided to keep. I feel like I want to really dive into trying to use the things that I kept that maybe I remember liking, but like haven't worn in a while. You know, I knew I loved this, so I kept it. Well, let's put it on, girl. Let's put it on. I will say, the brows are already done because I accidentally over laminated them at home. And you're like, what does that mean? And it's like, I left the stuff on for too long. Also, my friend's dog is here and she is fully digging a hole in my rug. So I love that. I think she needs a little blanket. Hold, please. Sometimes I feel like I'm turning into my mom because my mom fosters dogs. She has 2 dogs and she watches her neighbor's dog during the day. And I'm like, wow, this is actually happening to me. I'm turning into a dog lady, and that's fine. I'll take it. She did need a blanket. Look at her. I over laminated my brows at home, so they are basically just like so soft that if I touch them, they will go in whatever direction I want, which is great in theory, except I have to like literally lay them down to my skin, otherwise they will move and look nuts. So this is just what we're dealing with for now. So we won't be shopping that stash. But let's get into it. Like I said, all of my declutters are listed in my declutter playlist on this channel. We kind of do old YouTube with new makeup, so if you like that vibe, I'd love to have you subscribe. And let's get into it. Okay, so I'm looking in my primer drawer, and here is kind of what we have. I will say a lot of this is new, so I don't want to dive into too much of the newness. In terms of the ones that are older, I am interested in trying the Refi primer. I just did a shop where I start my stash on Instagram where I used this one, so I'm gonna skip that. The ones that I'm kind of thinking about is the Merit Great Skin, but my worry is that it's got like an oil layer to it and it's so hot out right now, so I'm kind of leaning more towards like a mattifying primer. And then also the Merit Great Skin moisturizer, that one's really good. I don't know. Let's do this one from Refi. I really like this primer. This is their face primer, Glow and Sculpt. This is a hydrating primer. And the reason that I like it is that, one, it's fragrance free and it's like a generally good hyaluronic acid based serum primer, but also it has a gua sha on it. So it's like a lot easier to apply and also gives you a bit of a lift while you're applying it. I used to love this and I haven't used it in ages. I've been really liking their other primer, which I probably should have used, but because this is a shop my stash, I wanted to try something older. But their other primer is like more of a filling the pores type of primer, and it keeps your makeup on so well. So we're just gonna have to rely on other products to help with longevity, because this is definitely more of like a classic hydrating primer. It doesn't pill. It feels so smoothing and soft on the skin. I have super sensitive skin and it's never bothered me, and it just leaves that classic skincare glow to your skin before you put on your foundation. So I cannot be mad at it. And there's a reason that I've had this as long as I have and continue to keep it in my declutters. I feel like I also get asked a lot like, well, when do you put on your primer versus your skincare? And typically for me, I will let my skincare, and by that I mean like any primers, moisturizers, and sunscreens that I want to use as actual skincare, I'll use those like downstairs in my bathroom, and I'll let my skin sit for at least like 10 minutes before I put on my primer to prep my skin. Okay, so for coverage, I'm going out to dinner tonight, so I'm totally fine with wearing a foundation. And the one that I'm thinking about, because again, like I really decluttered my foundations, like this is all we have right now. The one that I'm thinking about is this MAC Studio Radiance Serum Infused Foundation, because I kept it and I'm like, why did I keep this? I must have really liked it. I'm also thinking about the Glossier Stretch Foundation. That one's really good, and I really want to retry the Ritual Defee 3-drop foundation. I just don't think that today is the day for it. So let's go with the MAC. This is kind of new. it's not super new. It's probably in the last year. And this is their Studio. If you've tried their Studio Radiance line, like, you know it's really good. They also have a concealer in this line. It's not as good as the foundation, if I remember. And I can tell that there's like some luminance in here because I haven't shaken it up in a while and it's like slightly separated. I'm wearing shade NC 17.5. We're just gonna try it. We are just gonna try it. I'm actually gonna go for a bit of a smaller foundation brush. I would typically use my BK Beauty 101, but because I haven't used this in a while, I don't know what kind of coverage we're gonna get. So I'm going to use this Fenty brush. It doesn't have a name, but it's like a nice flat. It's a nice flat. Okay, here we go. I think I'm gonna do it on my hand first because I don't remember. I don't remember. Kind of a paint smell, but like, you know, that's pretty classic MAC. And it's a good color match for me. It's a little thick. It's thicker than I remember, and I can already tell it is going to oxidize, which is actually good because the shade that's going down is a little light for me right now. And this might be like a foundation that sits better with a sponge, but this looks really nice. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm glad I kept this. This looks so pretty. This is giving me a medium coverage, sort of satin to dewy finish, which is exactly what I want. I like it to look as natural as possible on my skin, and naturally if you have on like good skincare, you're gonna have more of like a dewy natural satin finish. Like no one's skin is naturally matte, so I prefer a foundation that sort of mimics the look of natural skin when it comes to the finish, and this is really pretty. I'm so glad I pulled this back out. And it's really pairing quite well with the Refi primer. I will say, I think I did a pump and it's getting me about 60% of the face, which I can do. I can do that. I think this would also sheer out really pretty with a sponge and turn into more of like a light skin tint. I feel like I'm like trying new makeup, which is so fun, and sort of like the whole point of this for me is like, remember why you decided to buy these things or why you kept them. And I said something in my other video that was like, you probably already own what it is that you want. And like, I think that kind of goes for everything in life in some way, specifically if you live in like the US, just because we have so much shit. Like we all own so much stuff, and I think for me, knowing that makeup is my vice, like not buying every single thing, keeping all my PR, keeping every shade of a line, even though I like the formula. Even with clothes, like I love clothes, and I'm like, okay, you don't need to buy every shade or every color of the top. You don't need, you know what I mean? And not that I really do that, but you know, it's a temptation for sure. And I think with cosmetics, we easily could fall into that because it's like, oh, well, I like this blush, so I better buy all the colors. And the truth is, at the end of the day, I usually end up, you know, really loving like 2 to 3 of them. So I am definitely getting better about that. And I think the fact that I'm about to have a kid has helped me with that, because I'm like, you don't have as much room in your life for taking the time to sit down and do this. Like that's gonna go away. But also like, you don't have any more room in your house, babe. Your house is gonna get taken over by kids. Okay, this is stunning. Genuinely stunning. Here's a little zoom moment. Like this looks so pretty. I always think that it looks good on my viewfinder, and then when I look on, like when I actually upload it, it doesn't look as good. It looks really good in person. Also, someone mentioned that I always look at my viewfinder, and that is true, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna try and look at the camera more often because obviously that's the whole point. My mirror is right off to the right too, so I look over here to like see how things look, but generally this looks really good. I think the only thing I'm noticing is like a bit of dryness on my forehead, but that's kind of like always there since I got pregnant, even if I like hydrate as much as possible. So love, 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 love. I'm so glad we're doing this together. Okay, moving on to our concealers. I will say I've really enjoyed having a bright under eye recently, and I feel like it really makes the look. So I am wanting to pull a concealer or a brightener that can help with that. And the one that I am really calling towards right now is this one from Laura Mercier. So I kept this much concealer and I split them into lighter coverage, heavier coverage. And the one that I am really thinking about here that I used to really love is this one from Laura Mercier. This is the Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Concealer. And it's got a really nice pinkish undertone to it for me, so it really does give that brightening effect. And then the other thing that I kept that I have been using to help pinpoint conceal is this a stick from, God, it's completely rubbed off. I think it's Lisa Eldridge. I want to say it's Lisa Eldridge. And basically it is a tiny, tiny little concealer stick. And ever since I got pregnant, I have this like blood vessel right here that has popped on my nose and I can't quite seem to cover it. So this is what I like to do. I put a little there and anywhere else where I'm like, okay, I had a pimple right there, so that I'm really spot concealing in a way that's like spot, if you will, instead of using my concealer to go over these areas multiple times and add a bunch of coverage. I'm still trying to figure it out because sometimes if I put it on first, it goes away. Sometimes I tried to powder it once and put it on and it didn't look right. So I'm figuring it out, but I think that it is a really cool idea and it's a little bit easier to use than like a pot concealer if you want to just like really get in there and get nitty gritty. So let's use our Real Flawless. I'm very excited about this. The other one that I was thinking about wanting to try again was the Tower 28 because I really do like this one, but it is got a very yellow undertone, and like I said, right now I just really want to brighten with some pink. So this is what we're gonna do. And I'm going to use I think I'm gonna use this brush from KJH that I haven't tried yet. This is the number 2. I might have used it like once. And I'm just gonna go with a little dot here and here to start, because this is a pretty dense brush, so it shouldn't pick too much up on the product. I will say the older I get, and I keep saying this in my videos, but like the older I get, the more I'm like, oh, we need more coverage. Like when I've been decluttering, I'm like, oh yeah, I used to love this. It has no coverage. And now that I'm a mother-to-be, I'm kind of like, if you're not at least offering me medium coverage, what's the damn point? Like even with this concealer, I would say this is probably a light medium coverage. I feel like I'm gonna have to layer it because my under eyes still are just so blue and sallow, and part of that is because I'm just not sleeping well. Like I am 26 weeks pregnant this week and it's just been getting up to pee like 4 times a night, you know, like insomnia, like the whole 9 yards. So I am gonna actually add in some more here, which is not what I would typically ever do, and then a little here just to brighten. But I really like this formula. It's very creamy. It's still thin even though it's creamy, and it gives you a natural, again, similar to the MAC that I was just talking about, it gives you a natural finish, and that is the most important thing to me when I'm deciding if I like something off the bat, is like how the finish looks. You can always manipulate finish with hydrating sprays or mattifying sprays, but when something looks good off the bat, there's so much less you have to do to make it work for you, and that's what makes something a very best award winner. So there is our concealer. It's still not quite enough for me, but this is what we're dealing with right now, and maybe we'll add in a nice brightening powder because I don't know, girls. I am just in the throes of wanting more coverage, which is crazy because usually in the middle of the summer, I am not wanting more coverage. But if I'm going out, I want to look cute, and I'm already feeling like so self-aware of the way I look because of my big belly. So if I can get a flawless base, I feel a little bit more secure. But I do really like that concealer, and I think me like 6 months ago would be like, oh, it's great. It's the perfect amount of coverage. So take that with a grain of salt. Okay, let's do a cream bronzer, cream blush, then we'll do our powder. So for cream bronzer, I unfortunately have not decluttered it yet. So I am gonna try and look for something that's a little older that we can just play with. But that will be our next declutter video because girls, we really need it. We really need it. I just love bronzer. I think it's probably my favorite step in my makeup. My hubby. Hey Reed, say hi to the YouTube.
What's up, YouTube?
Guys, look what I just pulled out that I think we need to use because I've kept it for this long. This is the KVD, guys, the KVD Liquid Gel Contour. Remember this? Remember this? Everybody was like raving about this. And I remember trying it and loving it, and I used it instead of my Charlotte Tilbury wand. Remember that? I have shade light, medium, neutral 70. And I think the reason that I liked this was, one, I remember it blending like a dream. Yep. And I remember it being light coverage, and I remember it being kind of warm, which is good because I don't like a real contour. I like a bronzing contour, like something kind of in between. This is really sheer though. I don't remember it being quite this sheer. Like 3 dots, if I used 3 dots of this shade of the Charlotte Tilbury, girl, I'd be looking like I have mud on my face, which is kind of good because I think it gives people the chance to try contouring with something that is easy and not easy to mess up. And it's still giving like that little bit of chisel, but you know, not a ton. I think I also liked this because it was a gel formula, which it is a gel formula. So it feels cooling on the skin, like it feels nice. And I have no idea how to contour my nose, by the way, because I have a, what is it? I have a bulbous nose, so like it's thin, but the tip is like a big honkin' circle. And so I don't know what to do to not emphasize that. Is it like put some on the bottom? I don't know. If you have a tip, let me know because I don't remember. And then I'm gonna do a little on the chin. I've really been liking doing like a harsher contour right here because it really does emphasize that jawline in such a cool way. Even like if I'm just going to the gym, I might just put a little contour right here because being pregnant is having a double chin and it does kind of like elongate that jaw because it ain't there. Let me tell you something, it is not there in real life. I don't know that I would repurchase this because it is giving sheer queer. Happy Pride. It's not Pride, but maybe if you like layer it up, and I think it could be easily layerable because it's so thin, but I kind of just want to throw on my stuff and get going type of vibe. And this one, you can definitely throw it on, but it's giving minimal contouring. But sometimes I like that, so I'm definitely keeping it, and it goes with the like this very glowy vibe we have going, but we're definitely going to have to bronze it up. I used the Make Beauty sculpting brush for that. Carrying on, let's put on a bit of blush, shall we? Yet another area in which we need to declutter. I kind of can't figure out what vibe I want today. If it's like glowy nudes, if it's sun-kissed, if it's pinks. I'm kind of feeling like deep nudes would be pretty because I'm just wearing like a polka dot shirt. So let's look for like a nudie blush that makes sense. You know, I was thinking off the bat that I should pull out these guys from Miss Pat McGrath Labs because I've kept so many shades of this blush. I have kept almost all of the shades of this blush. This is the Pat McGrath Labs Divine Blush Legendary Glow Color Balm, and I was obsessed with these. And I like the colors enough to have kept them all. So I think it's time to kind of take a look-see and kind of pick some that makes sense for this look. And then maybe come back in a week when we do our next declutter and give some the boot. Sorry to say. Okay, so they're all very pretty, but I definitely am not a super pinky person. There are definitely some here that I can tell don't need to be here, but for the sake of today's video, I think that we should use these two. And it's hard because you have to really look at the color and not the packaging, because the packaging is pink. So there are the actual shades. It's Alluring Nude and Sun-Kissed Seduction. So let's start with just Alluring Nude and see how far we can get with that, and then we'll go from there. These are very, very dewy. And they're not gonna be everybody's favorite, but since we're gonna powder after this, let's try. And I'm just gonna go on the brush with my stick. This is the BK Beauty 109. It is my favorite blush brush for creams. It is the best. And these have a nice amount of pigment to them. They are not too pigmented. They're not too opaque, but they're also not super sheer. They are sheer. You do have to, you know, build them up. But I think they all have a transparent base, which makes them really easy for all skin tones to use, which is what I love. And I feel like if I made a blush, I would want it to look like this and maybe a little less dewy. These are doing it dewy, if you will. And this is pretty, but it's not as deep as I would like my blush to look today. So I am gonna take some of the Sun-Kissed Seduction on top. Yeah, that's more like it, even though I look like a greasy mess. I know I overdid it on the blush. Don't say anything to me. That's the way I like it. I don't come to your house and tell you how to do your blush, do I? Didn't think so. Plus we're about to powder, so it's gonna go down. Now for powder, I think we're gonna have to use 2. And if you saw in my last video, I didn't keep that many. But what I'm thinking for my under eyes, because it was one that I wasn't sure about, is the Kosas pink powder in Translucent Candy. This is a really pink powder. And I got rid of a lot of my like super colorful powders. So I feel like let's test this and see how it plays on my under eye. And I'm gonna use a little powder puff to apply. And I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna do it. It's fun. It's not a big deal. The only problem is like sometimes when these are so pigmented, like this is so pink, looks like a damn petri dish, that it shows up pink under my eye and I'm like, no, I don't want it to look pink. I want it to just look bright. So here we go. I did really like the Huda powder that was in that purple shade because I felt like it helped blend my blush and my concealer, which was kind of fun, but I literally only used it under my eyes and I just felt like that wasn't necessary when I have a bright pink powder like this one that I can use to kind of give me that same effect. Very pretty and not too mattifying. I mean, I kept it because I knew I liked it. I just haven't worn it in so long. But it definitely did brighten up a little bit of that under eye. It's not a super light pink, but I think it worked for sure. And then I want to use a more finishing powder on the rest of my face so that we can add powder layers on top of that. Okay, so for a finishing powder, again, I didn't keep that many, so let's just go with our Kosas Cloud Set because I love it and it just, you know, never does me wrong. And I'm just gonna use sort of like a larger fluffy brush and just put this all over the face. You can really go ham with this without it looking cakey, which is why I love it so much. Particularly in this weather, I think having a powder on, especially a finishing powder like this, really does help with longevity. And I don't like to overdo it, but it does help. And obviously like a lot of my glow is gone now, and we'll bring that back with like setting sprays and stuff like that. Okay, let's go back and do a powder bronzer. The one I used in my last video was the Jouer, and I really liked it. And so what I want to do in this one is one that I freaking love and like have barely ever talked about. And that is the MAC Radiant, I'm really going in on my MAC today. MAC Radiant Skin Finish Sunstruck Radiant Bronzer. And this is in the shade Radiant Light Rosy. And the reason I like these is that they're kind of like a sheeny bronzer, and I like that they have a pink undertone to them because it kind of like brings life back to the skin. I really can't go without these days is the MAC Blunt blush. This is the perfect shade of everything for me. The problem is it hard pans 24 hours a day. So I have to literally go in with like my fingernail every time I want to use it because it hard pans so often. Like, look at it. So annoying. So I'm gonna start with this one, and then if I need to do the other one, I will, but you'll see, like it brings the warmth. And for me, that's what I want. I want that reddish terracotta bronzer, and that's what this does. And obviously it can also be used as a blush. See, I just feel like it makes my face look like so much more warm and so much more like alive. I love it. And I do go overboard with it all the time. Okay. Sorry, MAC, other MAC. We're just gonna stick with Blunt for today. I have been sort of shopping my stash when it comes to my powder blushes. And I've been using the Patrick Ta powder sides of the blushes, and it's looking absolutely stunning. But like I just said, let's, you know, like try some other things. So in my head, I'm thinking one of these could be fun, which is the RMS in Crystal Slipper, which is nude. Kiss of Spice Blonzer, which is gorge. Kiss of Rose. And I also have Maiden's Blush, which I used to love, love, love. Let's do Kiss of Copper because it's literally been so long since I've used the bronzers and they are that girl. But you have to be really careful because they kick up quite a bit of powder. So I need to use a like lighter fluffy brush. So I'm gonna use this one from Ravi Beauty. It has a really good like fluffy top. And you barely have to like, literally. And it still gives you, oh, the pigment. I didn't realize, I'm like, we're going kind of nude. I said we were going nude, but I mean, we're going kind of coppery nude, which is not my usual. Usually I go brownie nude. Okay, I'm getting a little out of hand, I think. But it's pretty, it's so pretty, and it's just, it brings a little bit of life back into your face because it has a little bit of that sheen to it. Like, again, I have on all powders right now, but look, you know? So it's just about finding the powders that work best, that still leave a satin finish. These are so pretty. Let's put a little bit of Kiss of Spice. Me and my damn blush. Can't get enough. That's so pretty though. I think I went a little crazy. I think whenever that happens, I'm just gonna go back in with the brush that I had for my Kosas powder and just pat that out. Feeling cute. Yeah, I'm loving this. Shop your stash, girls. I'm really not on my highlighter game right now because it's so hot out. Like, there's just no point in wearing a highlighter. So I think we're gonna skip that and then we'll kind of go over that in the declutter of it all. So let's put on a little eye makeup, a little mascara, a little lip, and call it a day. I've really been liking doing a little eyeshadow these days. And I'm looking at my eyeshadows. I'm like, okay, I have the Mario palette, which, like, hello, this doesn't even exist. You should definitely use this more. I've been using my Kosas Undressed palette because I really love this color story. But I still, at the end of the day, like, the Merit single eyeshadows are just kind of my go-to. Like, they're just so easy, quick, look good every single time. But I also want to use my Make Beauty eyeshadows. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, to start, I'm just going to do a light wash of my Kosas Undressed palette with, I literally just take all the browns and I smush them together on a fluffy brush, and I just put it in my crease. I don't even use an eyeshadow, especially for powder. I don't use a primer, which is crazy because that used to be like, it's crazy how we used to use eyeshadow primers. Like, we used to prime the crap out of our skin and our eyes with like silicones, and like, I felt like we were getting ready to wallpaper our damn face. And that just gives me like a classic sort of nude shade to have as a base. And then if I want to add a little bit of a shimmer, we can add a shimmer. I kind of want to do like a light wash of a shimmer. I'm freaking crazy. You know what? Frig it. We're going to do this. I'm scared. Okay, so this is the Dose of Colors eyeshadow stick in the shade Icy. These are like sold out all the time because of how freaking cool they are. Look at this. Are you kidding me? See, but I don't want it to be that intense. So I think I need to like take a little bit on my finger and then put it on. Just for that sheer, wow. Wow, that sheer glitter. This is gorgy. I feel like I should have gotten a shade that was a little bit warmer because it's kind of giving pinky. It is stunning. If you can get your hands on these, because I feel like they're always sold out, highly rec. Highly rec. And they have no fallout because they're so like wet. It's a very cool formula. I would prefer using something like this over like the Mario shadows that are really like icy looking, because these do not move. That's so pretty. And then for my inner corn, I feel like we should use the Make Beauty eyeshadow in Glaze. Yeah, that one's so pretty. I'm like having fun with eyeshadow again. I'm loving it. It's bringing me absolute life. And I'm gonna use this little CL blender brush. And these, you kind of have to like give them a swirl because they're kind of difficult. And then I'm just gonna give it a swirl in here. You know, oh my gosh. You know that lady that gets so excited for like the rainbow sponges on whatever like the QVC channel was back in the day? That's what I feel like right now, playing with my eyeshadows. I'm not doing anything revolutionary. It's just fun, okay? Right, girls? And honestly, I might use a little of this on the nose. Look at me having fun shopping my stash. If Shop Your Stash was like a company, you would think I was, I might have put too much on my mustache. You would think that I'm fucking sponsored by Shop My Stash. Okay, we're looking a little shiny. I'm not gonna lie to you about that. But that's okay. I put too much on my mouth. And now I just look like a sweaty girl. Okay, so for mascara, we're not gonna do any eyeliner because I'm not that freaking crazy. Let's do Let's do da-da-da, do-da-zoo, do-da-zoo, do-da-zoo. I want to do something tubing because I can't handle not tubing these days. So let's do this oldie. This is the Lash Craft Length and Volume Mascara from Sephora. I'm 99% sure this is a tubing mascara. And I like it because it's a natural bristle wand, which you know is my vibe. And I'm too lazy to curl my lashes, so I'm just going to go straight in. It's got like a paddle side, which I like because it really kind of gives your lashes a first coat. And then I go in with the more tapered, not tapered, but like thinner side to coat through the lashes individually. Because sometimes if you go through with the like larger side of the brush first, it just clumps them all together. So I like this brush a lot. And this is old, so it's nice and dry, which is my favorite kind of mascara because it like really separates because it's a dry ass formula. Pretty, there's with, without. I need to wear this more often. We'll see. We'll see if it lasts through the 90 degrees that I have to go through to get to this dinner. I think this lash is in like a growth cycle because it's like so stubby, which is really annoying. It's always one, you know what I mean? Like one eyeball has amazing lashes and the other one looks stupid. Same with eyebrows. Yeah, it's doing horribly on this side, but I'm blaming the lashes, not the mascara, because the other side looks good. The only thing about tubing mascaras is that it's really not, they're not meant to layer. So if you go in with a second coat, it's gonna automatically just look a little flaky and a little bit like spidery because they're really not meant to be layered. Because of the polymer in the formula, once it creates that tube, you're sort of tubed down, you know? Okay, obviously I gotta add freckles and we're using my pen, so nice try, whoever you are out there trying to make me use some whack-ass freckle pen. Won't be doing that. For the record, I know that this has been out of stock for a really long time and I haven't been able to say much about it because it's been out of stock, but it's coming back. I don't have an exact date, but it should hopefully be before summer is over. Because trust me, obviously I want everyone to have it. But I have no control over the production schedule at the lab. So I can only do what I can do. But I am sorry. The freckles are on, the freckles are cute. Let's finish off with a lip and get the heck out of Dodge. I did go through my lip stuff and I kept quite a bit of liners. I'm not gonna lie, I kept quite a bit. But these are all colors that I genuinely love for different reasons. So let's pick one that I just haven't used in a while. Oh, maybe one of these RMS ones. This one's in Sunset Nude. That sounds pretty good for what we're doing right now. Let's try it. These are really nice. Really, really nice. I do need to sharpen them, but you know, that's for another day. Pretty. And these last pretty well because they're just like a typical nude. They're just like a typical liner formula, which is my favorite. Like the Makeup Forever ones, the Tower 28 ones are good. These are really good. The MAC ones are really good. Those are like all the ones that I kept. Pretty, pretty. Okay. And for the final piece, a lippy. I've pulled all my lip treatments out recently, but I use those all the time. So I feel like we should try something different. And immediately my eye was just drawn to this. This is the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb Stick, and this is in the shade Fenty Glow, and it's just like a classic nude. It's really pretty, and it's like a light pinky nude. And I feel like this would look perfect with this look. All right, let's see. It might be a little light. I might need to put on more liner. These have that crazy ass smell that I really don't like, but they are pretty. They're like a true pigmented, like glossy lipstick. Okay, and then I honestly don't have a lot of matte setting sprays, so I don't know. Ooh, you know what I do have though? Maybe we should try this. This is from Huda Beauty, and this is the Easy Bake setting spray, and it has powder in it. It has rice starch, niacinamide, hyaluronic acid. It's alcohol-free and fragrance-free. It's so strange. Like, the spray is very fine, and apparently it's supposed to like absorb oil on the skin, which is nuts. So I'm really gonna shake her up and then see if we can keep some of this glow. It's a really fine mist. It's so little, but I bet it has as much as a normal setting spray. If it works, do you need a fan for your setting sprays? No. Is it iconic? Yes. Okay, I'm not sure that that necessarily did anything to mattify. It looks very pretty though, so we're just gonna see. We're just gonna see over time. And this is our finished look using all products that I have kept from my declutter during my Shop My Stash. Hello, this looks stunning. It's this gorgeous nudie bronzy moment and I love it. I am starting to get a little bit of like irritation and I don't know what it could be from, so we'll see. But I still think the look is gorgeous and it doesn't feel too sticky. I could probably go in with like another layer of like a gentle finishing powder just because it is so hot out. It's really, really pretty. I have powder on, I have my creams, I have my contours, and this is the whole point of a Shop My Stash, peeps. So I hope that this inspired you to shop your own makeup because like I said, you probably already have what it is that you want. And I will see you in the next video, which is probably going to be that declutter very soon. Bye.